What's up, guys? I'll start here in about a second to fill you in. Read that title for me, and then we'll get this thing going. This one is a special shout out to Jalen, who is in our group. So, if you're enjoying these live streams in the boxing content, go into my About section right now on the channel and join our Facebook group. We have a public Facebook group called Boxing News Today, and there's about 70,000 followers in there, and I keep it extremely positive. I manicure the site to where in most public boxing forums, you're going to see a lot of shit talk, a lot of trolling. There's none of that. So if you want a place to post, engage in healthy conversation about the sweet science, follow that group, Boxing News Today. And this is a live stream based on a question from one of the followers named Jalen. And it could be, guys, it could be confusing trying to understand and trying to follow what weight classes are, what undisputed means, why is one guy fighting in this weight class, why is this guy calling out this guy, how many belts are there, what are all these letters for? So all of that aside, we can't expect everybody, even if you're a fan of the sport, it's hard to keep up with what all the belts are, who are the champions in the weight classes, what means what. So today I'm going to talk about, in this video, we're going to talk about one specific request from Jalen. And he just said, and he wasn't talking trash, he just said, why would Charlo fight Bud? Okay, because I posted an article that's trending right now. Jermell Charlo recently came out and said he would no way fight Crawford at 168. And he said his reasoning was that for himself, 168 was too hard to make, suggesting that he was going to go back down to 54. Now, before we continue, I want to explain to you guys that might not know who are the champions in which weight classes from Crawford 47 to 68 to help answer Jalen's question, right? So we all know what undisputed means. Let's clarify that first. Undisputed, guys, is when you have all the belts in one division. So Crawford, 147 undisputed. WBO, IBF, WBA, and WBC. Those are, I have my notes here because I forgot the IBF. Those are the four belts, right? So you go up one weight class to 54. This is why Jermell was pissed off that he got stripped and by the WBO, I think, because as soon as that fight starts with Canelo on the 30th, there's no more undisputed at 54. Tim Tszyu was given a paper belt, right? So why would then Crawford want to fight at 54 against anyone? He wants to fight undisputed, right? 160, there is no undisputed champ. So as of round one on September 30th, there'll only be undisputed champ at 47. This is in relationship to Crawford in this conversation. 47 and 68. And the winner of that fight is going to be undisputed at 68, Canelo or Charlo. 60 isn't undisputed because you have four different champions, and 54 won't be undisputed because we just spoke about why Charlo's getting stripped, which is BS. That's a whole nother conversation. So at 160, to understand why, and I'm not taking anything for granted here, expecting people to know this. So if I'm going too slow for some of you guys, because a lot of boxing fans already know this, I apologize. I want to catch everybody up. So at 160, you have four champions, the middleweight champion. One of them is Charlo's brother, Jamal. Janabek has a belt. Lara has a belt. And then, forgive me, but I had to check who that, the fourth, Galtieri. Galtieri has the IBF belt. So there's four champions in 60. So Crawford gets nothing from 60, right? He wants legacy fights. They all want legacy fights. So undisputed 47. There's nobody at 54 anymore. 60 is not undisputed. So it only makes sense for Crawford to put his name in the basket. Now, back to the thing about Charlo. He says he would not take another fight. He didn't just say he wouldn't fight Crawford at 68. He said today that he wouldn't take another fight at 68, which I call a bluff. I call BS because let's say he beats Canelo at 68. Canelo would probably want a rematch. Think about the money that would be. Then you think about the killers who are waiting at 68. Big fights. You Plant at 68. You got Benavidez at 68. So the idea to think that Charlo wouldn't fight again at 68 is BS. We'll see what happens. And the reason why Bud would want to fight Charlo, hopefully I explained a bit wordy here, is because he wants to be undisputed. I mean, you can be a fan of the sport and not understand these things. I had to do my own research to see who had the belts in 60. You know, Jamal hasn't fought in 2 years. Somebody made a meme the other day, 800 plus days he hasn't fought. But I didn't know that Galtieri was a champion. I've never seen him fight. I'm sorry. I mean, Eris Lara is a hard hitter. I didn't know he had one of the belts. And then Janibek is a killer. He has one of the belts. One day, maybe we could get some unified system. I heard an entrepreneur speaking about recently on a podcast of how the Saudis right now are putting a bunch of money into sports. They did it with the golf. They're doing it with box. They're doing it with these showcase boxing events. There's flying cars in there. You should check out this company called Airspeeder. These are human droned flying car races that they're having in Saudi Arabia. So the idea he was presenting was fund somebody with a lot of money, big pockets, buy out the WBO, WBC, IBF, buy out guys at Top Rank, and create one governing body, one sort of league. Like you have the UFC, you have Dana White who oversees the UFC, and then maybe we wouldn't have these issues, but that's neither here nor there. Hopefully you understood, and hopefully I taught you something about it. But for Jalen, who asked, that's why Bud would want to fight Charlo at 68. Only because of the 4 belts. Like, share, and subscribe. Beasts.